Hey, so we're at part two of this dog-based trauma video, and this one is signs that I think things are improving. Albeit slow, any improvement is fucking welcomed. So, we woke up today. Him just peeing on the carpet, which is not something he's done. I don't think ever. I don't even think he he house trained really fast as a puppy, and we got him a little older than usual, like 10 weeks instead of 8. So he was already pretty much trained. Um, he had a good breeder, so it's not a common event. It's not something he does. He always asks to go out. He's very communicative. Um, and that was a couple of days ago, like this morning. And a couple of days ago, we'd noticed there was like a wet patch on the bed. We washed everything, and we were like, "Cause the dog just peed on the bed. That's really fucking weird." And I'm already like, it feels like you just get like the fucking clear thing just happen every time there's like a fucking anything with their health. It goes to that, and then all of the previously mentioned trauma, all of the flashbacks to that, and then catastrophizing of uncontrollable, might I add, catastrophizing and intrusive thoughts. I think possibly trauma plus OCD mixing really badly, or I just get like machine gun fire thoughts of things that's gonna go wrong that could be that, and I'm just fucking incapacitated, sick to my stomach, nervous system totally dysregulated. It takes a long time to recover from every slight worry of what it could be. So I immediately started thinking, has he been drinking more? Could have been drinking more as well. That makes me think kidney problems or possibly diabetes. I have no medical training, but when working in behavioural and basic training, you occasionally pick up some of the medical side of things, really informally, and not at all with training. But those were what I went to first, and I was like, oh, fuck. This immediately means we've got to get him into the vet. I don't have a car. We can't afford insurance, so he's on the PDSA, which is like in the UK, if you're in receipt of housing benefit, which we are, and in a catchment area, you can have them on this like charity based one basically where you make donations but you don't have to pay the full price of treatment. And it is the difference between him being able to be treated and not in our current fucking ability to have money. I fucking hate capitalism. And I love that this service is there. So fucking grateful. So that's like that's like I don't know how many miles out, just like on the other side of the main town to us. And I don't have a car, way too far to walk. Really difficult, immediately feel very like incompetent, incapable sort of vibes of like, fuck, I can't. It's like allegedly a train and a bus, but fuck, the amount of symptoms of dissociation we have, I never really feel safe traveling. I love traveling, used to do it a lot, and I don't know if I'm going to dissociate, miss my stop, end up somewhere random, switch. You know, it's like if my physical health issues are going to flare up. So, um, it's fucked, and we don't have the money for like an Uber or something. So already getting there is fucking difficult, and we'll require a lift, which will feed into the me being reliant and incapable, which is not good for trauma dynamics. Not that logistically easy either to arrange one. So like, not easy. And I immediately went into like just this usual panic sensation flashback territory. Sort of was in action mode with just like, it's like I felt the host part of me activate and get pulled forwards, so I'm like only thinking with that part of me, which is standard. This all normally happens. What was different really, really fucking different. It doesn't usually happen, and I think is indicative of things getting a bit better, is that I was only like that for like a few minutes, like 5-10 minutes. It would normally be hours, maybe days, and it was a few minutes. It's like 5 or 10 minutes of like googling and going, okay, what do I do logistically? Think this through, feeling incapable and inadequate and unsafe, and worrying about him. Going, what if it's something and immediately just takes him out before I can do anything? And then I felt the other parts of me all sort of zone back in and register that this part of me was like floating off and separated and isolated feeling, and all pull themselves around me, like into the trauma with me, not rejecting it, not rejecting me from holding it, but just, and like just fully pulling themselves into the situation with me, and with that pulling me all more into the present, and giving me access to their strengths and their understanding and their levels of perception, and like more access to all parts of me, so that I could take a breath and step back from the sensations and reactions of trauma, and realize that although this has an element of urgency to it, it's not the urgency we're used to. It's not like split second life or death decision making, and I can take time to think about it. Came up with something which is way less stressful and way more like way better designed, I think, where I've just started journaling, logging their symptoms. I've set an alarm on my phone to let them out at more frequent intervals, because another thing is he's 12 now and she's 11, and I'm not used to owning elderly dogs, and like their schedule needs are probably going to change, or probably are changing or have changed, and I have not become acclimatized to that yet. So I'm going to be taking them out at more regular intervals. I'm going to monitor their going out and their water drinking. I looked up some home remedies that can support bladder health. Just apple cider vinegar and parsley is what I'm going for right now to keep it really unintrusive. I added that to one bowl of water and had one fresh. So far, Bramble's mad for the parsley vinegar water, which is really fucking weird. But I've been tracking that, and then if after like by Friday, when I cross-reference their behavioural patterns with other elderly dogs through forums and YouTube and like any source I can find where I can see a load of like what is normal for the age and breed, if it still comes up as weird and not just elderly instead of adult behaviour, then I'll call the PDSA and work on getting there and work out that as it happens. And then I'll have like 4 days of observation to go over with them, so I'll be able to give them the information that they'd need anyway. So it's like I could think clearly and come up with a much better way to handle this, and I felt so cared for and so protected and like so fucking touched in that moment. Like, I feel like usually we've spent a life of like one part being pulled into flashbacks and activated, while another part completely separate to them makes sure we remain functional, and it's like there's two different things happening walled off together, so it's totally isolated on either side, and nobody knows what's happening or why they're feeling nothing and dissociated, or why they feel like they're in horrible terror and completely alone. And it's like, to have that experience shifted by other parts of me while I was in it is so fucking relieving. It was like some sort of fucking magic, it really was. And I felt so grateful for every other part of me for pulling themselves into it with me. It was very specific. It wasn't like pulling me out of it. It was pulling themselves into the experience. And then with all of those parts of me combined, the experience looked very different, and I could more easily access parts of my brain to be able to come up with better solutions, and to realize like the difference between then and now, and that it's not that happening again, and there's just so much that went so differently because of how other parts of me recognized what was happening and responded. And I feel so fucking grateful for that. It's weird because it's like I I feel like I've been on one end of this usually. Like I've witnessed younger parts who hold trauma. I've had like this background anxiety and like I haven't known what it is or why it's there, and been like, it's taken me a while to work out what's happening and like why I feel this background lack of safety. And then I've worked it out and I've tried to reach to that part inside and connect with them and pull my like to give them space so that I can sit with their emotions with them, and then eventually it's like bled into me so that I can feel it as if it's happening to me, and then I can validate the emotions and what's happening better because I'm like, yes, that is fucking terrifying, I can feel that, and also I can be in the present with what's different and how strong and capable we are. And it's just like more connected, I feel, and more being able to be with each other than just responding to parts of me who are experiencing this and validating it. It's like owning their experience as my own so they're not in it alone, I guess. And it was so fucking wild to feel it happening from the perspective of the person who's like having the emotional trauma based response, to then have other parts just gather around you and build you up like that and make me feel so much more capable and so much bigger and so much more filled with resources and safety to be able to deal with the situation, and so much less isolated and alone. It was really fucking incredible experience, and I'm so grateful for it. And now really, really fucking grateful that I can give that to other parts of me as well, that this must be what it feels like when I reach out to younger parts who are going through trauma reactions, and when I give them space to feel that with me and to feel it with them and to sit with it and promise them that we'll be okay and that I'll take care of them no matter how awful it feels, that we're safe now. It's like it's amazing to know what that feels like now, the sort of protection that I'm able to offer other parts of me and the sort of power that I can help us to access by doing that. Makes me feel very capable of dealing with anything. And not like, it's a very relaxed, free capability. I don't feel like I've got to prove something by being strong. Like I've got to deal with everything perfectly for it to go well. I just feel like my responses to whatever happens are going to be as good as they could be, and I think they're going to get us through whatever happens. So it's like I don't have to even feel wary or watchful or anything. I just feel like it's like ominous positivity, it's inescapable. I will be okay. I will deal with this. You cannot stop me. I am capable. There's nothing I can do about it. Alright. I feel like that's it's a good place to stop for this one. My throat's doing an emotion. A whole emotional thing happening right now. I'm maybe going to do a general fusion update as well, because this was specific. I'm exhausted, and it's really helped to vocalize about all of this and expel it. We love you all fucking tons. We hope that you're able to find ways to be there for yourself and own and embody your other parts of you's experiences of trauma, I guess, in a way that brings strength and safety now to be able to.